1.
The Creek War of 1813 to 1814. We're in a book by Henry Sale Halbert. We're just digging on this Tecumseh. You know how we been digging on the priesthood and the priest king. I mean, we can't talk priest king if we ain't talking Tecumseh. In some way, we're picking it up right here, man. We belly flopping. Pull up the link. Ahab to the real ones. Doing the work, man. I feel the vibration. We're getting over the interference pattern. We're getting over the static. We're 9 above. Let's go. Drop Nation. Page 49. Talking to Tecumseh among the Choctaw. Let's get it. In some way that cannot be ascertained, it seems that by mutual agreement, there was to be a final council of the Choctaws with Tecumseh and another resident of Noxubee, situated in Noxubee County. About 5 miles northeast of Brooksville, was selected as the council ground. In going to this council, Tecumseh with his warriors traveled back the same route that he came until he crossed Noxubee River. There he left the 6 towns trails and took another, which led northeast and terminated at his second home of Noxubee. Here the Shawnees remained full 2 weeks, and all the great Mingoes, almost like Mongols, all the great Mingoes and principal men of the Choctaws came hither to hear the talk of the great Tecumseh. So there's a lot of connection between this Tecumseh, you know what I mean, and the priesthood. We're talking, the Israelite kingdom already here. Love to tie battle. We already dropped a direct connection, you know what I'm saying, with different authors calling Tecumseh an Israelite. So of these tradition has preserved the names Pushmataha, Noxubee, Nubi. I hope I'm saying it. I'm trying. Mingo of the Western District, Hoan Tahubi, David Folsom, and John Pitchland. All right, so these are the names that are preserved in tradition. It's interesting. Man, love to the pro, man. I'm sorry I can't remember your name right now, but you dropped it in the drop chat. You talk. You know who you are. You dropped this David Folsom. It might be Tecumseh, man. Love it all with Tecumseh, man. It might be you, Tech. It might be you. David Folsom. All right, so there's something around this Folsom, this David Folsom, man. Now, a few words as to this locality, which is now embraced in the Chester plantation of the late Colonel Thomas G. Blewett. The house of Noxubee stood upon the crest of a hill about 1/4 mile westerly of the dwelling house of the plantation. About 125 yards west of the dwelling house stood a large red oak with broad, spreading leafy branches. Under this tree, the council took place. So they had council under a tree, man. We just talking about the Creek War. Talking about the Creeks, man. Let's go. It was the intention of Colonel Blewett to have this tree preserved on account of its historic associations. So it's a historic tree. But in 1855, without the colonel's knowledge and to his great regret, the overseer had it destroyed. Don't that sound like Avatar, man? See, in our minds, we just picture a regular tree. This was no regular tree, man. This broad, spreading, leafy branches that the council took place in, man. You gotta think Avatar, man. When the appointed time came and the Shawnees had finished their dance, the council convened under the oak, and Tecumseh, through Sakabu, made his talk. So we got a priest king in America. This is a Prester John. Focus, let's go. From the best information now attainable, the ideas of Tecumseh's talk at this council were much the same as in the Harangu at Hatubi's. In fact, his Harangus everywhere among the Choctaws were substantially the same. As a patriot, though it may be a misguided one, Tecumseh saw the necessity of the tribes uniting in the Confederation so as to preserve their lands and their nationalities. Tecumseh, this priest king, this Prester John, this priest chief, saw the necessities of the tribes uniting in a confederation, not the one in Psalms 83 where they're confederate against Israel. This is Israel saying, tribes, we got to unite. Now this is what, in 1500s? Let's go. Let's put it all together. Or this is what, with Tecumseh, we're talking the 1800s, man. So this is all recent drop. I mean, look, man. You got to make it difficult. You know, we're talking about the Tecumseh Comet of 1811. The Great Comet. And we pulled this link up before. This strange story of Tecumseh's Comet. So we know we're talking Dragon Drive. I mean, there's enough said on that. We know we're talking Cometa. You dig? You know, that Russian doll's dictionary that we were digging on in Russia. Before they was even a cometa, they just called it a star with a tail. So don't comment me. You just want to be talking star with a tail. And specifically it said star with a tail, tangled locks, bearded with tangled locks, man. Look, man, you know what I'm talking about. Star with a tail, bearded. Hold up, man. You think this? Man. This is good. I gotta pull these links back up anyway. I told you they destroyed my links, man. I was getting really linky. I wonder what happens when you just put a star. Look, man, we surfing the wave in real time, man. Isn't it fun? Let's go, man. Hey, hop to y'all. Y'all make this fun. You listening in, you in your car, you falling back, you want to get groovy. Right now, we've been serenaded by CJ Battles Ether Sessions live in the ether. We live in the ether at 432 The Drop Radio. And that's the kind of vibe we on right now. It's about 12:30, midnight. Enjoying the flow. I mean, what are you doing? We just falling back. We surfing the wave. And for the first time, you're about to witness me. Put this in Google, man. I'm about to put something in Google that's crazy. I'm just going to say star with a tail. Bearded with tangled locks. All right? Look, I'm not doing no magic. This ain't no magic trick. Star with a tail, bearded with tangled locks. Enter, drop. Let's go. Let's go in the ether, man. Let's see what comes up in the world of Oogle Gay. Star with a tail, bearded with tangled locks. Oh, shit. I mean, first of all, you got this bearded dragon drop that just pops right up. Yeah, I just never put, hold up, man. Y'all want to click it? Let's go. We just surfing the wave. I never seen this before. Reptile.guide. Y'all ever heard of this before? I just said star with a tail, bearded with tangled locks. They said dragon. I said star with a tail. They said dragon. Now, you got Tecumseh's comet in 1811. They say comet, or are they saying dragon? What is this, man? Where we at, man? What's up with this link, man? I don't even know what's going on here. Imagine what it would feel like if part of your body started rotting from the inside out. Imagine waking up one day and noticing that this part of your body was getting more numb and black. Oh my God. What are we looking at? Where y'all take me, man? You take me to some calcium. I don't know what this is, man. We just surfing away. This happens sometimes. A naturally dark tail will not appear or dry it out. Tail rot will appear if your bearded dragon's tail is black, decaying. Let me back it up, man. Tail rot is a serious condition in which the tail of reptiles begins to actually rot away due to an internal infection. You know what, man? I guarantee they're getting this stuff from ancient dragon drop. You know what I mean? Where these were different type of diseases and shit that was happening to the dragons. Something like tail rot. The tail will actually fall off if not intended to. and can spread infection to the upper body, damaging internal organs. In short, bearded dragons typically get tail rot when the tail experiences some type of trauma. Bearded dragons? Also, if your dragon is severely malnourished and not getting enough calcium, their bones can become... How to prevent bearded dragon tail rot. Assuming your bearded dragon was healthy when you adopted him, or the main thing you could do... All right, man. You got the link. I can't do no more. We just surfing away. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is how to take care of your dragon. All I put in was star with a tail, bearded with tangled locks. We got this whole drop about bearded dragons. All right, then we got dreadlock drop. Okay. Now watch this. Let's go. Now what if we put in... Oh, wait, what's that? Oh, you saying that we did some drop on this before? Hold up, man. Y'all didn't tell me that the drop was popping up. Y'all didn't tell me that drop popped up when I said star with a tail, bearded with tangled locks. Let's click on it, man. What do we got here? A comet, meteor, Prester? Okay. Sometimes we be doing drop, man, and, it just be popping up when we are just simply surfing away. You know what I mean? And it really does just let you know what I'm saying, how much the energy that we're putting out is really penetrating into the, into the ether. Man, love to my jigger. Appreciate you, bro. That was an incredible alley-oop, man. That was a great drive. Hey, out to everyone tuning in to the physics of our creator. We will be on that now, man. I mean, we earned it. We earned it, man. So let's ether up. Star with a tail, bearded with tangled locks. We just talking comet. We just talking meteor. We just talking Prester. Okay. Remember when you put the Prester in, the Prester is just simply, a meteor, a comet, the same thing. So, yeah. We couldn't find something else that matches. All right. I just want to make sure we're doing the recon. Now let me just take it to what we was talking about. Let's put in Russian dolls dictionary. See where that takes us. I spelled Russian wrong. My bad. My beast. All right. So we got some euphemisms. So I want to get to a specific drop on meteors and comets, man. I'm actually looking for this link. I know I can probably find it on. You know what, man? Hold up, man. I'm tripping. Let's do it like this. Let's do it. Let's go to YouTube, man. You in YouTube, we're going to go into YouTube. So, we're going to go into a double layer of the tube. I just want to find this video. Khandrop, comics, media. Yeah. Let's go. Maybe it's all one word. We're just surfing away, man. Whoa. Here it is. I don't know, man. Something got to come out. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So I'm gonna lead this lane, man. Take us a minute. Take us a minute. This is gonna lead us to all the drop. Yeah, we're just talking the dragon drop, man. We're just talking bearded with tangled locks. And we went deep on this Tecumseh, so I just want to show you this. You know what I mean? We went in on Tecumseh, man. Let me click this one here. Oh yeah. So, you know, make use of these links, you know what I mean? Because this is a lot of drop, and they do be taking them down. So, you know, do whatever you got to do. Photocopy them, you know what I'm saying? Get the drop. Definitely click the links below. Let's see what we got here. Man, all those got the drop, but it's not the right one I want, man. Hold up, man. Okay. Let's do it like this. I mean, we surfing away, man. In real time, man. For real. All right, so I'm gonna put everything I know this link got in it. Cometa, Russian dollars. Man, I wish I remember the researcher's name. It's a particular study on these meteors. You know what I'm talking about. Meteors, dragon. Come on. I feel like I'm rolling the dice twice. What do you mean? There is no matches for what what do you say? Start with a tail. Bearded with tangle. Oh, I spelled tangle wrong. Why didn't y'all tell me I spelled tangle wrong? Did it make a difference? Hell no, it didn't make a difference. Tangle. Did I spell that right? All right. Let's take out Cometa. Let's take out. Oh, I spelled meteors wrong. Why didn't y'all tell me I spelled meteors wrong? Come on, man. Come on, Link. Maybe it's on page 2. Hell no, it ain't on page 2. Man, that's a good link. That's a good link. I gotta find this link, y'all. I'm sorry. I mean, we gotta get this drop. Damn, did they take that thing out, man, already? Yeah, I gotta print it out next time I find it. Cause I see how this is going. Let me take the quotations off. I don't know, man. Hey, man, CJ Battle doing his thing in these ether sessions, man. I mean, you making it easy for me, man. Okay. I'm gonna try one more thing, man. You know, while we grooving in CJ, I'm gonna try one more thing, man. Why y'all tell me I spell Russian wrong? Drop can't spell for shit. Right now, man. Meteor, comet, dragon, Russian. Kometa with a K. Tail. Okay, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Roll the dice twice. Roll the dice twice. Come on, man. Come on, man. Ah. I mean, this is serious. This is getting serious. I can't believe this. It's a great link, man. I gotta fight for it, man. I gotta fight. Certain times in your life, you gotta know when to fight, man. Just stand your ground. Stand your ground, man. Learn from the drop, man. Let's go. Research project. What the heck? What do they call this thing? Comet dragon. Man, I gotta keep the star with a tail. Star with a tail. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. It's the last day I'm gonna try. And maybe this is what we're here for. I'm going to 432thedrop.com. And I'm going in the search box, man. If I can't find it on the net, maybe I can find it on the drop. It's our last hope. It's our final hope, man. Search box time, man. It's drop season, man. It's furnace season, man. I need to get on this Tecumseh. Let's go. I'm trying to be D. It's that CJ battle, man. I'm trying to breathe deep, but I am outside and watching my speed, but I'ma go faster. I in the trees, but don't need a ladder. I'ma do me, it don't even matter. I'ma do me, it don't even matter. I smoke the bleed and landed on side. You wouldn't believe I've never been sadder. You wouldn't believe I've never been sad. I smoke the bleed and landed on side. You wouldn't believe I've never been sadder. Been inside before. Never been inside before, man. I gotta find this link. Let's go. CJ Battle got the drop. Ether sessions every Wednesday, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock Pacific. Alright, let's go. I know it's in Dragon Drop. Yeah, let's go to Dragon Drop. Let's go to Dragon Drop. Okay. So you put in Dragon Drop. Guess what, man? We in Dragon Drop. All right, we in Dragon Drop. See? Dragon Drop. Dragon Drop. You know we got some Dragon Drop. Always dropping at 432. The drop. Let's go, bitch. $432 the drop, got the drop for a reason. When you can't find it on the internet, when you can't find it on the World Wide Web, you come over here to drag and drop. You put in drag and drop meteor, and you add the drop. Hey, hop to the real ones. All praise our creator for the platform, for the flow. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, CJ. This the link I want. Yeah, man. You see what I'm talking about? Hard work, man. Dedication. CJ Battle, man. I told you, man. I told you we'd get there. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Start with a tail. Start with a tail. Let's get it, man. Hey, this is dope, man. Hey, you know what, man? I feel this is one of my proudest moments, man. You know, I fought the fight. We fought the fight together, and just for it to come back home, that we had to come back home to find this link. That's pretty dope, man. I mean, you got to give yourselves the AI, man. So this is what we building at 432thedrop.com, man. And I got a lot of updates to do, I know. But trust me, man. Like I always say, I let go. Let go, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go. Hold up, man. First of all, let me bookmark this joint. For real. But yeah, it's only 4 pages, so I'm going to print this joint out because I already see it's disappearing out there. All right. Meteor Beliefs Project. Dragons as meteors or comets in Russian folk belief. An investigation is presented into the connection in Russian folk beliefs between meteors and comets, which are not always clearly distinguished from meteors in such beliefs and dragons. So whether you believe in dragons or not, you need to pay attention to this meteor belief project because it appears that these meteors that you keep mentioning are dragons. That's why there's no crash sites, no landing sites. Oh, I saw this spark flame thing. You're talking to ether, you're talking to seraph, you're talking to higher orders, man. The datable surviving text span from early 11th century to modern times, although most of the material was recorded from the 18th century onward. All right, so this drop was around 2003, September 11th, man. Hey, it's crazy because it's September 11th, Wednesday, right? We just got off the Wednesday. You probably getting this on the Thursday, but, just think about that. All right, let's go. Let's go, man. So we're just talking about dragons. We're just talking about meteors. And I'm just getting back to Tecumseh's comment so I can get back into the Creek War. I'm just surfing the wave. I had no play. I had no playbook tonight, man. I just wanted to come to y'all, just voice my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Just surf the wave, enjoy the flow. Now, let's pick it up from here. It says, my first reaction. Let's get it bigger. Let's get it bigger. Let's get it bigger. My first reaction to the question, do the Russians traditionally equate meteors with dragons? Where's my, okay, it's all good. My first reaction to the question, do Russians traditionally equate meteors with dragons, was that according to my recollection, they definitely did. Later, I realized that I had no clear idea what a meteor was. After reading through the available material, I came to the conclusion that Russian folkloric sources are equally confused. They don't even know what a meteor is, so don't tell me meteors ain't dragons. You basing it on a hijack that don't even know what a meteor is. They don't know what the sun is, they don't know what the moon is, they don't know shit about shit. They seem to be confused. Russian folkloric sources are equally confused. Lack of a precise definition of a meteor, just like Ethiopia or India. Lack of precise definition of the term meteor before the 20th century is clear from Russian dictionary entries. Shreznevinsky's Dictionary of Old Russian, which covers usage in the medieval period, has no entries for meteor or comet. We're talking the medieval period. We're talking what? The real spill. Middle Ages, Dark Ages. We're talking the Israelite Golden Ages. We're talking 1200s, 1300s. Let's go. You're talking all that Tecumseh talk, that Joshua talk, that Prester, that Dawee, you dig? You're talking that real kingdom popping, situation. This is what Genghis Khan hijacked, but even Genghis Khan kind of kept it going a little bit compared to what we see now. Of course, we see nothing of us in our noble image, our noble flow, but even with the Genghis Khan hijack, he at least kind of kept it going a little bit. He was pretty, from their perspective, he was pretty solid, with how he kind of kept the order around things and protected his people. He did protect his people, So we don't have that no more. We don't have that nobility protecting us no more. We don't have no noble image. We don't have no noble, sovereigns or priests or khans to protect us. So look, man, we just talking the Middle Ages or the medieval period, so-called, has no entries for meteor or comet. That shit don't exist as such, but does have one for what? Read it with me. Star with a tail. And this is how it listed. All right, you go crazy. In modern Russian, star with a tail. So these comets and meteors are stars with tails. Now you say, well, what's that? Let's keep reading. What's a star with a tail? That's the next conscious question is what's a star with a tail? Vladimir Dahl's Etymological Dictionary of the Great Russian. We're still talking the Rus and the Picts. We're still talking the Prester John. Let's go. The Rus, one of the most authoritative dictionaries. So when I say they don't have no listing, no entry for meteor or comet, it don't exist. This is one of the most authoritative dictionaries of the 19th century. We're talking what? 1800s. We're talking what? Tecumseh. We're talking what? Tecumseh's comet. Tecumseh's comet. Man, contains the generalized definition of meteor as an atmospheric phenomena. So we went from Stravinsky's, 1958, volume 1, digging on this Stravinsky's Dictionary of Old Russian, all right, 1958. We got the Russian Dolls language, Dolls, 1955, one of the most authoritative dictionaries of the 19th century. Contains the generalized definition of meteor as any atmospheric phenomenon. Meteors may thus be aqueous, that's the water, that's Aquaman, all right, it could be Aquaman, aqueous, water dragons, marine dragons, igneous, that's that fire, aerial, luminous, you got it, come on, let's go, sounds like dragons to me. Under igneous meteors, Dawes mentions thunderstorms, fiery pillars, balls, and stones. Thunder dragons, fiery pillars, balls, and stones. Whereas aerial meteors may be winds, whirlwinds, and mist. Remember we read that drop about dragons being angels and how they control the winds. You have wind dragons. Look at the Book of Jubilees. You got dragons of the frost, dragons of the wind, dragons of the this. Or, But they say angels of the frost, angels of the wind, angels of the So we're just talking dragon, man. We're talking the fire, the water, the ether, the earth, and that's all we're talking. The elements. The definition of comet in Dawes Dictionary is a heavenly body which is in comparison to others, is of a huge mass. So think about a dragon. Just go for it, just for a second. Just flow with me. Flow with them in Russia in the 50s. The definition of a dragon, right? Comet, dragon, is a heavenly body. We say dragons are the higher seraph, the 8-winged dragons, right? Let's go. A heavenly body, which in comparison to others is of a huge mass, though sparse, nebulous, and transparent. They be disappearing and stuff. Sometimes it may be seen to have a nucleus. I see a body, while the surrounding area forms something like a tail, beard. Oh, you thought drop was bullshit. I know we touched on this, but some people still don't know that when they see dragons or comets or meteors, they're just talking comets, are just talking star with a tail, with a beard. When you see this stuff, just know it's already been documented. You're talking heavenly, angelic bodies, sometimes transparent or nebulous, sparse, with a huge mass. Sometimes can be seen to have a nucleus, while the surrounding area forms something like a tail, beard, or tangled locks. Dreadlocks. Dreadlock. We're talking red, man. Drop Nation, here we all day. Oh, comets got locks. Comets got locks. We're just talking a star with a tail. So now, before you think about an inanimate object, moon rock, space junk flying through the atmosphere in a circuit, think about a dragon with a tail that has a beard and dreadlocks, tangled locks. It's a star with a tail. We're just talking the Dawes Etymological Dictionary, man. Vladimir Dawes Etymological Dictionary of the Great Russian Language in 1955. All right, you got the link. Let's go. I mean, remember, man, when we talk Meteor Man, now I got to go back and watch that Robert Townsend classic flick, Meteor Man, right? I mean, what's he telling us? He's talking about a meteor man, man. Now we on part number 49 of our investigation of the priest king Prester John. Yeah. And the more I ponder on this priest king, the more I connected with the dragon drop, the more I connected with the seraph, the Melchizedek, right? Melchizedek, priest king, Prester John, seraph. But sometimes the Hebrew plural, seraphim, an angel of the highest order. You can read about these angels or these dragons with 6 wings. We're just talking Drakkar in 1828. A fiery shooting meteor. So they knew something about this meteor drop and the meteor man. I mean, they knew something about this comet that we're seeing, like our dragonflies. We're just talking Drakkar energy, frequency, 360. That's 9. That's the spiral. Let's go. Again, the definition of comet in Dawes Dictionary is a heavenly body, all right, which in comparison to others is a huge mass. And what else? Whilst sometimes it may be seen to have a nucleus, while the surrounding area forms something like a tail, beard, tangled locks, star with a tail, tail, beard, tangled locks, star with a tail, beard, tangled locks, star with a tail. I'm just talking comet. I'm just talking the what? Meteor Beliefs Project. I'm just digging on a dragon in 1828 Webster Webster Dictionary. Dragon is a meteor. Or you can just be talking about the Naga, a fierce or violent person. Male or female, this man or woman is a dragon. You are the last dragon. You possess the power of the glow. Yeah, you fierce towards the invader. Yeah, you violent towards the invader. The invader's writing this definition of a dragon. He's saying you're fierce or violent. This man, this woman is a dragon. Or a meteor. Or a Prester. Because a Prester in 1828 is a meteor thrown from the clouds with such violence that by collision it is set on fire. Who is Prester John? And what are we digging on? We digging on a man? Is this a search for a man? Is this a search for the Son of Man? We're talking about the King of Kings. We're talking about the Dawid flow, that with the anointing of David comes the fire, the water, the ether, the earth, all the keys to the earth. All the keys to the earth are in the vortexes. That's controlled by Prester John, King of the Three Indias. Prester, a meteor, a dragon, a meteor, a dragon. A Prester is a meteor. A meteor is a dragon, is a meteor, is a Prester John. John is king, the king of the dragons. Khan. And when we talk to Tecumseh, we're just talking to OG AmaruKhan. And that's you and that's me. And that's the frequency of the Khan dynasty. That's the frequency of the natives that are just natural by law. Love to the bro. The originals. The originals. The copper color race is found here. They didn't take you here. They just found you here. Who? The Europeans. Who? The people that are now applying your title of Khan to their descendants. Born in America. But they found you in America because you're the native, you're the natural, you're the original copper color Khan. Priest Khan is a AmaruKhan Prester. A what? Meteor. Collision. We're talking about the part of the neck that swells when you're angry at who? The person invading America, taking your titles and now applying them to the descendants of the Europeans that found you here. Found who here? The Dracons. The meteors. A fierce or violent person, male or female. This man or woman is a dragon. Now, I'm not saying you're just a dragon. I'm saying that this is the frequency, the flow that we see in what we call a dragon. You have the fire, you got the glow, you got the water, you got the glow. You got the ether, you got the glow, you got the earth, you got the glow. So these dragons we're talking about outside of you are just, parts of you. You know what I'm saying? That they're always connected with you. This is your guardian angel. This is your angel. This is your angel. This is your seraph. Angel of the highest order. It's for you to put it together. You're more than the vision. When I say dragon, you're more than that. That's just battle time. You know what I'm saying? You, or the Adam, the original, contains the full crystallization. So all this stuff is a part of you. The dragon is a part of you. But when you know what a drakan is, when you understand, when you understand the fire, how can you be more than the fire, the water, the ether, and that which we call the earth? So you're always in tune with the spiral. There's no separation between an angel or you or Hawa. All this is the breath of security. It's all one ether. It's all one drop. There's no separation. So just know who you are. Know how you rock. When we talk meteor, when we talk Tecumseh's comet, we're only talking a star with a tail. Something like a tail, beard, tangled locks, star with a tail. So, we're just digging on Tecumseh. We still in CJ Battles Ether Sessions. This is the Vanilla Sky Mix. Only exclusively at 432thedrop.com. Let go. Hey, hop to the Ether Squad for making this a reality. Witness. So we talk strange story of Tecumseh's comet. We overstand. We're talking Drakan. They call it Ame'rican. We call it Ame'rican. Black Sun Prophecy. So we dug on this before. You can go get the drop. Yeah, there was a Tecumseh's comet. This is the same as Napoleon's comet that scared him to death, ran him out of Russia, the Russia. So, my take on it is it seems to be the same comet. The same dragon that ran Napoleon out of Russia was also a sign of, really what became, devastation, you know what I'm saying, for the tribes after 1811. It says Tecumseh, an important Native American mystic, warrior, military leader of the Shawnee. He is today remembered as a great hero who fought for freedom. His name ominously means shooting star. Star with a tail, right? His name means dragon, man. So you can't talk Tecumseh without talking dragon. His name means dragon, shooting star, or he who walks across the sky. We're talking Drakan. Tecumseh's brother, who was a religious leader known as the Prophet, had predicted a solar eclipse in 1806. William Henry Harrison, governor of Indiana, who was worried the Prophet was becoming too popular and challenged him to produce a miracle. Whoa, so we're talking Tecumseh, his brother's a prophet, and we compare this with the Moses-Aaron scenario. All right, but this is in the 1800s. The Prophet announced another solar eclipse, and so it did. September 17, 1811. Hijack City. Don't even trip. It should be added that the prophet had been in contact with astronomers who told him the solar eclipse would take place that year. A black sun was said by the Indians to predict a war. So this Drakan was predicting a war that, was already, ordained by the creator, clearly, And the war was launched by Governor Harrison in November. Wars with the Indians and the British would rage until 1813. Right now, we're just talking about the Creek War. After the day of the Black Sun, Tecumseh and his brother, the Prophet, attracted even more followers. Once the greatest. Read more about Tecumseh. Yeah, man. So, as we've shown, we've dug on this Tecumseh. Let's go back. I'm just talking about the Creek War, man. Oh, wow. CJ Battle got the wheel. Let go. We're in the ether sessions, man. So where were we? We just talking Tecumseh. All right, the Creek War of 1813, 1814 by Henry Sally Halbert and Timothy Horton Ball. So we know Tecumseh saw it necessary of the tribes uniting in a confederation so as to preserve their lands and their nationalities, to preserve their culture, their identity. To effect this purpose, he urged that it was necessary for them, under the circumstances, to take the side of the British in the inevitable conflict. So they had to choose, who they was going to eat there with. Remember, the British didn't look all blonde hair, blue eyes, and all that stuff. Remember, you got people over there. So, he might have been just, connecting with his people that was connected to these lands in, Scotland and Britain and all that, right? So, keep an open mind and, surf the wave on what's really happening in Britain and what Britain really looks like. So he chose this British side, all right? A born savage, though he was, the great Shining had an innate humanity that caused him to reprobate all unnecessary barbarity in war. And in every council, he told his wild Indian fellow countrymen to renounce the custom of slaying women and children in war. The expression in Tecumseh's speech at Tuckabachie, recorded in Claiborne Sam Dale, slay their women and children, is an error, a mistake. At no period in life, in none of his war speeches, did Tecumseh ever give vent to such a sentiment. So he trying to put hate on his name. Of course, he's a savage, right? But he's an Israelite. And he's an exilarch. He's clearly an exilarch, He's clearly leading his people, during these, times of captivity. Now, this was Tecumseh's last talk to the Choctaws. The next day, Pushmataha made his reply. So he's trying to form his confederacy. Spoke of a long existing friendship of the white people and the Choctaws. Let's go. Between whom no wars had ever occurred, and the Choctaws could truly say that they had never shed the blood of a white man in war. There was no war or cause of war with white people, and the Choctaws must not be led into any war by Tecumseh. Whoa. I'm reading this for the first time with y'all. I just had this bookmark, and yes, at the right time, I'm just going to break into this joint, man. We're doing it in real time. You see me reconning. We over here looking for links. We finding it weird. Right here at 432thedrop.com. And this is your place. This is your cozy, your alcove, your secluded alcove, man. To get the drop and to find the links you're looking for. And trust me, I know I'm behind. I got so many more links, so much drop to drop. And AI, much shalakia to all the family. I know you're looking for certain content, so it's just now I can transition. I got where I wanted over here. The flow feels good. We feel cozy. I feel like we at cruising altitude. It's like you ain't got to keep climbing. You just got to get above the static, and then now you in cruising altitude. So we're over here at 432. We in cruising altitude. We got rid of all the static, all the interference. It's all good. Allah, we're cruising. When it's time to, land and take off again and surf the wave and ride the wave up and ride the wave down, we do that. We do it together because it's one drop, man. And we take off into the ether and we get back into a cruising altitude, man. And we let CJ Battle take the wheel in the ether sessions. Come over here and get your links, man. Surf the wave. Let's get a little bit more of this, man. And, I just want to send y'all a great Ahab and just keep this great priest king, man. This great, You're talking to exilarchs, man. You're talking to real ones. We're going to get back in this Caddo. Don't think I forgot. I've been thinking on this Caddo language, the Caddo Indian tribes. We know how this is connecting in a major way. Oh, boy. We just talking to Edsanoa, cities of go. Hope y'all enjoyed that Cities of Gold callback. We got another one because my children were looking at an episode today that was mind blasting. So I think we had to come back real quick with that Cities of Gold. So let's go back. Tecumseh, the Israelite priest king, is trying to muster up the unity in Israel. Put it like that. Because you right here in Israel. You know what I'm saying? You standing in Jerusalem. You did. You in the promised land. So he's trying to get the Choctaws on his side. So the next day, Push Matahawa made his reply. So Push Matahawa was with the Choctaw. Now he's checking in with the Choctaw for a reason. Whether they're Israel, whether they're whatever tribe rocking with Israel, you know what I mean? You do the recon on the Choctaw. But he's checking in. He's like, what's up, man? We got to stand firm against these hijacks. Clearly, he was talking about the whites in this particular scenario. In 1800s, he's like, look, man, they rolling up on us. Now, he rocked with the British, which means that they couldn't have been whites because, you know what I'm saying, clearly he was going anti-whites just based on what was happening around him, which makes perfect sense. I mean, think about the times, think about what's going on before you judge him and call him a racist. Think about what was going on with his people dealing with these whites right here. I mean, don't be too high on your horse. You're going to have to deal with this history now. You got to get this work. You got to get this work. You think about what this bro Tecumseh had to go through before you say, oh my gosh, he was racist against whites. Yeah, naga, nigga, look, man. Yeah, man, that's what happens when you massacre people, you know what I'm saying? And completely, you know what I'm saying, diminish their ability to see the light, to see clearly, to have a heritage. Now suddenly our heritage is gone. We got no things. We got no more stuff. We got no more Khan. We got no more priests. What does it say in Hosea 3 and 5? You go a long time without a priest. A long time without a Khan. A long time without an AmaruKhan. Copper color races. Black people. Negroes, right? Found here. You're from here. This is the old world. But now apply to the descendants of what they're calling whites in this scenario with Tecumseh. Look, this is 1828. We're talking the same time frame. We're talking 1811, 1828. So let's just put this shit together right quick. We know that whites aren't the original Europeans. We get that. This is 1800s, man. All right. So this was Tecumseh's last talk to the Choctaws. The next day, Push Mataha made his reply. He said, look, Tecumseh. He spoke of the long existing friendship of the white people and the Choctaw. So because of his bond with these whites, making these treaties, peaces and friendships, he said, nah, man, we can't go against our peace and friendship. We can't go against our long existing friendship with the white people and the Choctaw, between whom no war ever occurred. So when you hear about, so-called black folk not going in captivity, not ever going into slavery and all this stuff, yeah, man, yeah. Yeah, man. Between whom no wars had ever occurred. And the Choctaws could truly say that they had never shed the blood of a white man. We're talking during the invasion, so which side of the invasion were they really on? I'm just digging on it with you. Let's go, though. Let's go. Because, I don't want to generalize. Like, we know that with the Cherokee and the Chickamauga, there's different factions of Choctaws. There's different factions of Cherokee or Chickamauga. So I ain't over here saying the Choctaws are all, some type of, yada, yada. I'm just saying, look, man, I'm just reading on this particular document with you, you know what I'm saying? There was no war or cause of war with white people and the Choctaws and the Choctaws must not be led into the war by Tecumseh. Now, again, we know Tecumseh's Israel. We've done that drop love to type battle. She's dropped them major sources directly linking Tecumseh, with this Israelite chief, this priest king, this Khan, this AmaruKhan. So here's this Israelite coming to, who I guess he might consider as bros, to some degree. And they say, nah, man, we ain't gonna rise up against this white man. He's always been good to us. We've never shared no blood with the white man. In closing his speech, he turned to the Mingos present and said that if any Choctaw warrior should take the talk of Tecumseh and join the hostiles. Now, who's the hostiles? You're talking about the people rebelling against the invasion, the same way that, this American 4th of July situation, they were rebelling against the English, right? Now you got the indigenous AmaruKhans, the indigenous AmaruKhans rebelling, the copper-colored races, the originals rebelling against the invasion, and they're being called hostiles, savages. Let's go, man. Let's go. Just surfing away. CJ Battle got the drive. Still got the whip. So he said, man, if anybody's going to rock with Tecumseh and join the hostiles, and should he not be killed in battle, he must be put to death on his return home. If you fight against that white man with Tecumseh, we gonna kill you. The other Mingos also made talks after push Mataha, and all concurred in his opinion that if any warrior should take the talk of Tecumseh, he must be put to death. All the Mingos seemed willing to follow the lead of Pushmataha, who from the very beginning had taken a stand against Tecumseh. So this was really some type of family beef, you dig? Now, John Pitchlynn and David Folsom also used an active influence against the Shawnees. The statement in Claiborne, Mississippi, that some of the Choctaw Mingos were hostile or inclined to take Tecumseh's talk is altogether erroneous. As to the hostility of the Hopi Iskatini little leader, it is sufficient to say that he was a mere boy at the time, probably about 12 years of age. After all the speeches were made, the Mingos, man, every time I see this, I think Mongols, man, held a private conference in regard to Tecumseh, after which they informed him after the decision, which was that if he did not leave their country, they would put him to death. So get out of here trying to get us to fight against the white man. We got treaties of peace and friendship. And if anybody want to break our treaties, you die. They also commissioned David Folsom to take a band of warriors and see Tecumseh safe across the Tombigbee. It is not known how soon after Tecumseh obeyed this injunction, but both parties, Tecumseh and his Shawnees, and Folsom and his Choctaws, all mounted and equipped in due time, marched towards the southeast and arrived at the Tombigbee near the present little village of Memphis in Pickens County, Alabama, where they encamped. Hohentobe was with Folsom's party, and after 2 or 3 white men, the next morning, all went to work to make rafts across the river. The rafts were made by tying logs together with grapevines, but the warriors seated themselves on the rafts, and while some would paddle, others would hold the horses by the bridle and make them swim in the rear. By the sunset, part of the Shawnees had launched their rafts and crossed over, Tecumseh among the number. Folsom remained with the other party on the western bank. The ensuing night, it happened that a large party of marauding Creek warriors, here come the Creeks, crossed the river below, came into Folsom's camp, and stole several Choctaw and Shawnee horses. They took them several miles below, tied them in a swamp. Then, taking the back trail, they hid themselves in the cane about 2 miles below Folsom's camp. The next morning, finding several of their horses missing, some of the Choctaws and the Shawnees part mounted and part afoot, went in search of them. They soon discovered the marauders' trail and were eagerly following it up when they came near the Muskogee ambuscade. Here, all at once, they received a galling fire from the wily foe, by which some were killed and some were wounded. The remainder returned the fire, then fled, hotly pursued, back to the camp. In the retreat, a horse was shot in the shoulder. His rider, Ashani, then leaped to the ground and continued its flight afoot. Without further casualty, the party arrived at the camp. The Muskogees took possession of the hill which stood to the south of the camp, and now from hilltop to valley the fight began to rage. The Shawnee and the Choctaw and the Shawnee pitted against the martial Muskogee. The camp on the other side of the river heard the firing, and Tecumseh's warrior spirit was aroused. All crossed over to the relief of the beleaguered camp, and the fight raged with great fury. The smoke of the battle soon darkened the field, enveloping the Muskogees on the hill and settling down on the cane brake which sheltered the Choctaws and the Shawnees. The Creeks made several efforts to drive their enemies from their cover. At one time, two daring warriors making a flank movement had even penetrated to the Choctaws' rear, but were there discovered and slain. All day, with rival bravery, the warriors of Tecumseh and Folsom fought the common foe. So you got the warriors of Tecumseh and this David Folsom, which the bro dropped. And we got to look into, especially if we're talking allies with this Tecumseh, man. About sunset, where we at? About sunset, encouraged by Tecumseh, an assault was made up the hill. The Muskogees were dislodged and put to flight, and the shouts of the victors resounded over the field. Both sides had a considerable number killed and wounded. David Folsom, while standing behind a tree in the act of shooting at a warrior in his front, received a rifle ball through the right shoulder from another hostile warrior who had taken a position in front of the Choctaw flank. Noxubee also received a wound though a slight one, being struck by a spent ball. While fighting bravely against the enemy, a rifle ball struck through a large cane in his front and glancing struck the warrior with considerable force on the breast. For a moment, supposing him smitten with a mortal wound, Noxubee cried out with a loud voice, "Shalish, Shalish, all right, I am dead." But he soon realized that he was not so dead after all. This little incident afforded much amusement to the Choctaw warriors. The Creeks, according to their national custom, bore off from the field all their wounded and as many of the slain warriors as they could with safety to themselves, but they were compelled to abandon the few whom the Choctaws plundered and scalped without compunction. The Shawnees took no part in this act, perhaps by the command of Tecumseh. Since the fight was a necessity forced upon them the next morning, the victors buried their dead, and then all able to do so crossed the river, Folsom notwithstanding his wound crossing over with his people. Folsom's mission was now accomplished. He had seen the Shawnees across the Tombigbee, and they now separated. So David Folsom literally saved the life of Tecumseh, man. Man, we're talking Tecumseh's Comet, man. We're talking the shooting star. We're talking the Dracan, the bearded one with tangled locks. The Shawnees continued their course towards the domains of the Muskogees and the Seminoles, man. Oh man. They're talking about the Black Warrior, man. Folsom returning to the Noxubee on account of his wound. The fierce brave selected another leader, went over to the Black Warrior, and there wreaked their vengeance to the fool. Oh man, it's Black Warrior drop. All right, I think we can get to that point, man. Let's get this. All right, so we got the Creeks. And they're fighting against the Choctaws the same way that Tecumseh, man, and Israel, right? So the Creeks are rocking with Israel. All right, you get it. So that's why I said, you know what I'm saying, we got to dodge the hijacking, you know, make sure we got 360 degrees, you know what I'm saying? We can't just start playing one letter rules. We got to really connect these things. You know, we can't start saying the Creeks are the Greeks when we know that these Creeks are rocking with Israel, you know what I mean? And we know these Greeks, we already know the situation. You know what I'm saying? So it's two different frequencies. It's two different frequencies. Even when we talk about the Romans and the Roma, you know what I mean? These Romas weren't calling themselves Romans. You dig? So, you know, you're just talking about a frequency in the language and the connection. So we know we the original all this stuff. We the original all this stuff. So we're just connecting it, you know what I mean, all the way down the stream. You know what I mean? We're making sure that we're flowing. Making sure that we're flowing. You know what I mean? Because we can't get cozy with no hijacking, no excellent new tune, no Greek frequency. When we know the Greek frequency that's being put on it, and its Greek frequency ain't the Greek frequency. Those are two completely different frequencies. You know what I mean? The Greeks, according to their national custom, bore off the field all their wounded and as many of their slain warriors as they could with safety to themselves, but they were compelled to abandon a few whom the Choctaws plundered and scalped without compunction. The Shawnees took no part of this act, perhaps by the command of Tecumseh, since the fight was a necessity forced upon them. The next morning, the victors buried their dead, then all the able crossed this river. Right, so David got Tecumseh across the river. It's just an interesting flow. The Choctaw warriors now resolved not to recross the Tombigbee until they had retaliated upon the Muskogees for the loss of their horses and the death of their warriors. So the Choctaw, all right, who didn't want to side with Tecumseh in the first place, now they had war with Tecumseh. Remember, because they're fighting on behalf of the white people. They don't want to go to war against the white people. They've never shed white blood. I mean, in reality, I know we're just talking WIGHT. We're talking a definite new tune. You dig? Folsom returning to the Noxubee on account of his wound, the fierce braves selected another leader. So Folsom returned to Mashuli to be. So he returned home or to wherever this is, and then they selected another leader. Went over to the Black Warrior. So this is letting you know that this David this David Folsom. hey, I mean, hey, I mean, we just surfing the wave. We just surfing the wave. But he was elected, right? Because they went over and selected another leader. You're just talking exilarchs, man. Went over to the Black Warrior, and they wreaked their vengeance to the fool, to the Black Warrior. They burned a number of the horses of the Muskogees, slew their warriors, and seized their horses. By a strange freak of fortune, they recovered in a canebrake on the Black Warrior the very same Choctaw and Shawnee horses. So they got their exact stuff back that they had been captured on the Tombigbee. Man, reminds me of when Abraham got back the flock of Lot. You know, just an interesting flow, man. At last, enriched with booty and scalps, they recrossed the Tombigbee in triumph, thence went to the house of Mingo, Akilatubee, in Noxubee County, half a mile north of the Bagu Chitu Bridge, where they underwent those ceremonies of purification customary in ancient times among the Choctaws on the return home from the warpath. The above sketch, all right, so it goes into these sketches. Tecumseh's visit to the Choctaws and the Chickasaws and the Choctaws had been worked out from original and authentic sources. All right. And this is some cold drop right here. You know, again, I know we're just, especially when we talk to Creeks and, Choctaw, these aren't titles. I mean, these are titles, but these aren't the titles that we gave, ourselves, even if they try to say, oh, well, that's what they call themselves. That's how they're all, just trying to interpret you. They're trying to interpret the khans. They're trying to interpret who you are, the copper colored races. You know what I mean? So we can overstand the creek. You know what I mean? We can overstand, these, indigenous Israelite, Shawnees, we can understand the Chickamauga and the Dragon Canoe. We can understand what's happening here. We can understand what's happening here. And we can surely understand because we've been standing under it the whole time. And this is what we're bringing in, with a pure water flow. You know what I'm saying? We can see when they say Roman Jewish, we can see that they're just talking pomegranate. You know what I mean? And this is what we're trying to, really see who's on what side of what war. Just because two people are fighting, the Choctaws and the, Shawnees, we know that Israel had infighting. We know that, the kingdom was split in two, because of the transgressions, that David had to, be reconciled for, So, and then Solomon, after the kingdom of Solomon, that split after Solomon's death. The kingdom was divided because of certain transgressions in that time, but both men